All right, let's see this, guys. Classic hardcore devs share behind-the-scenes stories. Wowcast. Okay, so this is... I like that they... That's kind of cool. The dwarf with the bear from the intro. That's cool.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wowcast. I'm your host, Bethany Stout, and today we're going to talk about WoW Classic Hardcore Realms.
Good.
And I have two special guests with me today.
Hi, I'm Ana Resendes, lead software engineer from the World of Warcraft Classic team.
Oh, I remember her.
I am here to make sure that everything
really cool.
in the tech side is ready for having Hardcore Realms to the players.
Yeah.
And I'm Clay Stone, Associate Production Director on the WoW Classic team. I'm in charge of making sure that the team is well supported, has everything it needs to continue to deliver great experiences for our players.
The team exists, guys. All three of the WoW Classic developers are here. Their entire team is there, guys. Let's go.
This one being WoW Classic Hardcore.
Yeah.
When does Classic Hardcore come out?
Yeah, World of Warcraft Classic Hardcore mode is coming out in August 24th.
Oh, that's coming up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, very soon.
Can you tell us more about Classic Hardcore?
Yeah, I mean, hardcore, it's not a new concept, right? It's a thing that, a game mode that has appeared in different kind of games, right? Like, for example, Diablo, right? Like you get to go in there and choose to just have one life and go through the hardcore mode. You know, and we are bringing that now to World of Warcraft for the first time officially.
It's cool.
Yeah, like
it's actually coming.
You are gonna be in a realm where the moment that you create a character, you're kind of writing the story for it, and it's just gonna have one storyline because it only will have one life.
So why hardcore mode now?
Is this better?
You know, we've been watching for these past few years as a segment of the player base has been engaging.
Dude, sorry, Matt. I don't know what corner to go into. I'm sorry.
In the hardcore playstyle.
Oh, don't show.
To the point where
thank
we
God.
started playing
I was getting a little bit nervous
as well, and we fell in love with it.
I thought they were gonna do like a compilation of like content creators who died.
It felt like a whole new way to approach World of Warcraft. There was a point where our senior producer, Josh Greenfield, came to the team and he said, hey, we should do this. We should support this officially. We should implement the rule set, create new realms, and provide this for our players. So we came together as a team. We looked at, well, what are those rules? What would we actually want to change? And that started us looking at our available resources, timing, when could we do this? And it all made sense that now is the right time. Now's the time to officially support this, and we're just so excited to bring it to our players.
Yeah.
But we did have an initial, you know, kind of like dipping our toes in it when in Season of Mastery, which is one of the first different changes that we made, like a different environment within a WoW Classic. We added an optional toggle where players were like, okay, I wanna...
You could tell it was like they were dipping their toes into it, because like Soul of Iron buff was not really like... It was just kind of like half-assed,
the
right?
challenge of only having one life, and basically this buff, once you died, it would disappear and you would no longer have it. Oh, it showed actually a perishment. Right? I didn't know that. It really was the base for us to go into the actual support of official hardcore servers. And not only from, you know, kind of like dipping our toes into hardcore, but also we, like in the classic team, we introduced this new technology where we're able to make changes to rule sets that enable to have like the same client and the same data and everything living together, but like with slightly less differences. You're still gonna be able to play the original game with infinite lives, but these really like Season of Mastery was what allowed us to be able to create these game modes.
Hey man, and listen, dude, I'm just saying, guys, let me just huff my copium real fast, okay? If they actually are going down the road of doing these things, man, okay? Classic Plus is a potential very, very big, amazing market that a lot of Classic players do have the intention of maybe playing as well, okay? I'm just saying it.
Your favorite death moments?
Favorite death moments?
Okay, I'll talk about my first one.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to.
So that nobody else out there feels bad in case this happens.
Okay, how did he die?
I was playing a human paladin. I got all the way up to level 6.
Ooh,
if you can believe that. Level 6.
Mate, not the mine, right?
I know. And I was cruising along, cruising so fast that I thought to myself, I don't need to run back to the trainer and get divine protection. So I got the quest that I've done a dozen times before, to go retrieve Bernice's necklace from
I knew it.
Fargo Deep Mine.
I knew
Basically ran through the thing to the room where Goldtooth lives. Waited for Goldtooth to spawn.
Come on.
Engaged immediately, and I turned and ran. Did another thing I was supposed to do. I put my back to them, got stunned almost immediately, and that was it.
You don't put your back to them.
So,
Rest in peace.
you know, it sticks out in my mind because it was the first, and it's just unfortunate because it happened so fast.
Yep.
But the great news was, seconds later, I had
honestly, the fast deaths, they don't hurt us much. It's the slow deaths. Okay, the slow deaths where you're slowly realizing that you are about to die. Those hurt the most. When it's just trickling in your brain that you're not gonna make it. Because like if you just suddenly die, you're like, oh, what the hell, right? But if you're slowly realizing it, that's the worst ones, man. I hate those.
Another character, and I
hate
was
those.
going again, and I wasn't going to make the same mistake again the next time.
Well,
That's
Clay,
good.
you're not alone,
Okay.
right? Like we've been looking at the PTR and like other people playing there, and really, Coldboard is the #1 NPC
Really?
that like kills the most people in right now in the PTR.
I believe it.
Oh, the
It's the
PTR. Makes
revenge
sense.
plot for all the candles taken.
Yeah, probably.
Makes sense, yeah.
We also know that some people change the way that they level to and like maybe avoid certain quests that they're like, you know what, that's not worth it, or like avoid it for a little
fair
bit,
enough.
level more, and then try it and be like, I'm gonna be secure about this. Especially when you get to like
You
the
do it as you
higher
want.
levels, right? Where like, okay, well you got to level 6. That's
Hooray.
great.
I did it.
But you know, like getting closer to those level 50s in the 50s is like you spend a lot of time on that character, so you really need to
You
be
invest,
very sure
man.
that you have all of that in mind.
You invest
Did your
time.
first character get past level 6 before she died?
Thank you for this.
Well, actually, you know,
Rub it in.
Okay, where
when
did you
I
die?
first joined
blood
WoW,
elf.
right, like the actual WoW universe, and the first time I played the game, and I spent like 20 minutes in the character screen just making sure that all the customizations were
perfect
there,
haircut.
that I really liked my character, making sure it was a very cute, what was my first character? Oh, it was a blood elf, yeah. I went upstairs after my mom helped me pick up all of these. We were happy with the character. Went upstairs, played for 5 minutes. I came downstairs and I'm like, Mom, I died.
Oh,
I
rip.
didn't understand that WoW, you had infinite lives. I thought that you only had
Oh,
one
sure.
life.
That was your hardcore moment.
So she thought it was just a
It was
hardcore
nice
base.
hardcore moment.
You were the
yeah.
original hardcore player.
Yes,
Damn.
not a very good one, right? Like I died like at level 2. But yeah, I'm really excited for hardcore.
What are some of the objectives you have in mind for Hardcore Realms?
When we set out to create official hardcore realms, we really looked at what are our objectives in trying to accomplish this. And
Oh,
the
the
first one
objectives,
is
okay.
creating a very fair, equitable space where all players are playing by the same rules.
Makes sense.
Everybody enters into a hardcore realm playing by the same rules,
Yeah.
with same restrictions, same opportunities, but it's fair and balanced for everyone. The
Yeah.
second one is really the focus on the player journey. What's so magical about hardcore is that it really places a renewed emphasis on
the
the world
leveling.
of Azeroth and
Yeah.
on that leveling experience from 1 to 60. So that's something that the team placed a lot of focus on. And then the
That's fair.
third is we've seen on what we've called the unofficial hardcore realms shenanigans happening where
Ooh.
players
Griefing?
are unintentionally flagging themselves for PvP
Yeah, I died
and
snaggy.
engaging in unintentional PvP activities. So the team has really taken a hard look at what's caused those in the past and
Yep.
what changes we can make to address
Okay.
them on these official realms. So when we looked at what our capabilities were and the rule set changes that we could make, we found a lot of opportunity to be able to make some tweaks so that when you wind up in a PvP situation, it's because you wanted to.
I think that's
we found
good.
a lot of success there.
Honestly,
How do you enable
yeah.
that?
For
How do you
hardcore, that's
enable
good.
PvP?
Yeah, it's really, you know,
Because most of the time in hardcore, like you just get baited to like PvP flag and then you accidentally die, right? So
It's about conscious
I like that they
mode.
changed that.
You have to use the command of PvP. You kind of agree to it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
like
there's
a war
also
mode.
if you ever go to the capital cities and stuff like that, then you're getting into a situation where you know that people there and the guards there are not going to be happy with you, so it's going to be very, very scary. It's a little bit different for the modern game where there's like other different systems like the war mode that doesn't exist in Classic. This is more of a, you have to actually choose to do so. And in comparison to the PvP realms, in the PvP realms, the starting zones are kind of like, you are protected in a certain way of you cannot attack someone unless they attack you. But once you get to some zones, it kind of is like everybody is there for like
Strangle Thornvale.
If you find someone from the opposite faction, they can just attack you. And those are like kind of the realms that we have in Classic, but we're only gonna be going with the PvE one where it's like a very conscious thought of like getting into combat.
Okay, I like this. This is good.
Another tweak along those lines is we've changed it so that if you accidentally right-click on another player, you don't accidentally find yourself flagged for PvP.
Okay.
Yeah, you
so
can
what are some of the new features that the hardcore mode will have?
Yeah, I mean, one of our new features is Duel to the Death, right?
This is really cool. I like Duel to the Death a lot.
Some players engage on it on the PTR. It's been super amazing to watch.
I still think Duel to the Death should be a duel that just never ends, okay? So if you decide to duel to the death someone, you just have a nemesis forever. And you could log in 2 weeks from now in Orgrimmar, and your nemesis could be locked in and backstab you as you log in. So it's not a duel, it's like a lifelong rivalry until one of you guys die, right? I think that'd be cool.
This is one of those features that came from within the team. And,
you always have to watch your back.
Hardcore and about like all the cool things you can do in hardcore, and suddenly someone.
This is cool though. I like this.
Someone in the team was like, we should definitely.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, it would be sick.
That, right? Like, it's very appropriate to hardcore. It became an official thing, and now like really, when you want to go do
a nemesis system,
only one victor will come out of it, and we've seen like a lot of players engaging on it on PTR. Yeah, we actually had a tournament. Like I don't know, Clay, if you want to talk more about the tournament.
Hey!
Yeah, so it's been so cool to see the way that players on the PTR have engaged with Makara or Duel to the Death.
Yeah.
At least one of them.
Starter zones are littered with the bodies of level 1 characters because players just wanted to use it right away and try it out, which has been fun. Something else that we've seen as well, we saw, so on our PTR realm, our current level cap is level 30. So players are able to level up their characters to level 30. And the community organized a level 30 Duel to the Death tournament.
Yeah.
And our whole team watched it.
No, that's not the one.
It was so cool to see these players who have invested so much time already, even just to level 30.
That's the other one.
To prepare for this tournament.
That's the other one.
And to know that at the end of the day, there was only going to be one left standing, and all the other players were never going to be able to play those characters again on the hardcore PTR. And we felt
they showed the clip.
For everyone watching this, it felt like an honor that these players had put so much time and effort into these characters, only to risk losing it in a tournament like this. It heightened the experience, and it made the tournament feel so meaningful because of it. It was awesome.
Yeah, the more impact.
You know, something really cool about the Duel to the Death is that, I mean, it's a big deal, right? Like, you just take somebody else's life. Also, you know, talking in the team, it's one of those things that we were like, hey, how can we make sure that players want to engage into these, but also like that they did this, they put all this effort, how can we award them with something? Every time you win a Duel to the Death, you collect one of their ears, kind of like a nod to Diablo, kind of like a reference to Diablo.
We had originally set the level to be able to earn that at level 10.
They did increase the duel range, by the way, guys. So the duel area is like twice as big as a normal duel, which I think is good.
But we found on the PTR that was a little too low, and we want to make sure that lower level players aren't being taken out just to increase one's buff. So we've actually raised that to level 19,
20.
And that's what we'll be moving forward
19,
with for now, but we'll continue to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, another one too is you have to be really close to each other level-wise, right? Like, because it wouldn't be fair of like, I'm gonna have a level
40 it's like Diablo, right? You collect ears like a Diablo.
Level 10s, you know, it's not fair. So you have to be within your level to kind of make it through. Yeah, and the other very, very cool thing about Duel to the Death is that we are going to have its own specific flag.
You see that flag drop,
actually looks really cool.
It's going down.
I like the whole Duel to the Death. I think it's so awesome.
So we've talked a lot about 1v1. Yeah. What about Battlegrounds and War Games?
You know,
you can still do those, I think.
About it, right? Like, when it's 1v1, it can be very consensual, very like, okay, let's Duel to the Death, or Even in the open world, you can like set yourself as like, I want to be a target for PvP. Maybe when you're going to get those world buffs, you might need to go into zones that are contested, right?
Can do BGs? No, you can do war games. War games are possible.
That it like hardcore is not the mode to go queue and get like put in together with another rest of other people and going into different battles, like for example Warzone Gulch, getting like to fight for the flags. Because in the original classic modes where you have multiple lives,
this
really part of the story was like they expect you to be able to resurrect to make it a very...
For all the people that are interested, by the way, you can actually purchase a PvP trinket from a vendor for gold. You don't need to do PvP for it on the hardcore server, which I think is pretty cool, because you can use the PvP trinket for a lot of other things as well.
Fair battle. That said, we know that like some people actually want to go in and engage...
For a hardcore server, I think that's fine.
...into a battle for the flags or a battle for contesting in Arathi Basin and all of these things. And you're still going to be able to do that, but you're going to have to do it in a consensual way of getting a team of your own and maybe an enemy team or a friend group team where you can go and battle it out. So you're always going to be able to do war games where it's like kind of like a duel, but like dueling each other into a battleground. But this is not like Duel to the Dead. If you decide to finish the battleground before, you can still come out of the battleground like while having your life intact.
We expect that we would probably just see a lot of non-participation where players would hop in, stand in the back, wait for the battleground to end, and collect the rewards from non-participation. So it would be really...
And I rarely use this word, but it would be really cringe. Battlegrounds and hardcore. People would be,
And it really makes sense for hardcore.
This seems intimidating to have one life.
Yes.
Can new players play hardcore mode?
Oh, for sure. I think it makes it a great experience for multiple reasons, right? Like, yes, you only have one life, but you can go in, try it, maybe have an unfortunate ending to that character, but you get to try it again. So I feel like it's a very good way to have someone new to go and experience it, because there's going to be so many people playing it, and really you're going to have to be really aware of what your class does. It's a great learning time.
We have been so surprised by the number of players who have come to World of Warcraft for the first time just to play hardcore.
It's kind of crazy.
The approach to it is it feels so different. You tend to
can I watch this video? Right here.
Slower. You tend to always be surrounded by people. One of the nicest things is, even though death happens, you go again, you roll another character, and you find yourself in a starting zone that is surrounded by other players.
It's amazing.
No more ghost towns, just like embracing the community.
There is so many people that play for the first time.
There's going to be ghost towns now, like, because you can continue to play the game while being a ghost, In hardcore, we believe in ghosts. Ghost exists. You can stay there and rumble around the world. That said, you're not going to be able to...
It's actually insane how little changes they've made to the game. These losers are doing the bare minimum. I think you don't understand, though, that like if you change every single thing and the game becomes so custom, it's gonna like put off more people than it really attracts. I think they've done some good changes that are nice, that generally is good for it, but you gotta be really careful with how much you change to the base game, right?
Still use,
so I do see the reasoning for not wanting to change everything.
But you're still gonna be able to talk to
I don't know, it's a weird thing.
You can also transfer guild leadership too.
Yeah.
If you happen to be
the well, that's good.
So the guild can continue without you.
It can continue with you in memory.
Yes.
When someone dies, it's going to be announced in the guild chat. So if you're
it's as well. Oh, so they actually have an announcement like that now as well. Okay, that's actually kind of cool. I didn't know it was like that in the actual screen as well. That's interesting. I wanted to say something as well. But like, I don't know, it's same thing with the whole trading, non-trading thing as well, right? Like, should they implement that as a base thing? I don't think they should as a base thing maybe, but maybe make it an optional thing where you can do it, like have like a mode for it, right? Something like that.
Part of a guild, it's going to be showing up in the guild chat. We're aware that there are going to be a lot of fallen soldiers. If you were to announce every single death, it might become a lot for some players. So your community wants to know how you're doing. It wants to know how is it that you're doing, your journey, and also the end of your journey, right? So if you die in WoW Classic Hardcore at the moment, you can also choose to transfer your character.
So it's not super scary. If you end up getting attached to your character, you can continue your journey, just not on the hardcore realm.
Yes,
yeah,
and
you can
we
transfer
also
it over.
want to celebrate the victories of the players too, right?
Okay.
So whenever someone gets to level 60, that one is going to be a realm announcement, and
nice.
everybody.
That's kind of cool, but I wish the announcements were bigger on the screen, right? I really did. It shouldn't have been no restrictions as the only option. It should have been an OSRS styled and pick and choose meme. I think so too. Yeah, I think some sort of like, okay, do you want to go Iron Man? Do you want to go Super Iron Man? Or you want to go solo self-found? Stuff like that. I think that could be a really good way of going down it, right? And maybe that'll be like a thing in the future, that there's going to be some sort of like a character selection. Like whenever you're making your character, you can choose to be like a normal hardcore, you can be a solo self-found hardcore and whatnot, right? I think that could be a way of really doing it in a nice way.
Is going to be able to see who's the one getting to 60. I'm really excited to be online and see the first person, going to level 60. I know it's going to
be me.
It's going to be a really interesting race to see. Yeah.
That's a really interesting point about, let's say, the race to 60.
Yeah.
We're fascinated by it because for hardcore, that level up process from 1 to 60, and you approach it so differently in the hardcore space. You're more aware of your surroundings. You tend to go a little bit slower. But
okay, I will to say some people are not that aware. Okay, I don't mean to be rude, but listen, man. Okay, there are some people that are still not that aware. Okay,
it makes you re-examine Azeroth in ways that you hadn't before, and even some of the same quest lines. If you've played World of Warcraft
myself included,
for years
sometimes
and years now, it feels new and it feels fresh. But we recognize that as soon as we launch these realms, there's going to be players who race to 60. Of course, it's unavoidable. So it's going to be really fascinating to watch.
Yeah, I mean, hardcore is really gathering to a huge range. It's World of Warcraft. It gathers to a huge range. We understand for some people it's going to be the journey. Like maybe some people will like to stay at level 19 and do Warzone Gulch. Maybe other players might go out and get to level 60 and then
that's what's great about
go and engage into the ratings, right? Like the actual raids with the huge bosses. It takes a lot of preparation and trust in your team for sure. Like those raids are also like a reminder that raids in Classic are 40 people raids. So 40 people putting their lives there, right? Which we are adding like some changes to the raids. Well, this affects a lot of raid, not necessarily only for raids, but like we are removing the buff and debuff limit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it will create,
I thought it was something else.
It will make it maybe a little bit like easier.
I thought she meant like mechanics. Okay, just the debuff limit stuff.
For example, this debuff in the boss might not do as much damage as this other ability, so please don't cast it. But now you're going to be able to do it, contribute to the damage meters, and continue to do all of those things.
That does help with rating,
yes.
for sure.
When we think about the rating that we expect to see, back when Classic launched in 2019, Molten Core was cleared in 5 days.
Easy, yeah.
Since we're going to be launching these realms at their final phase and their final feature sets, that means that players will be able to go all the way up through Naxxramas. That's going to be incredible to watch.
What about dungeons in hardcore mode? What's the difference there?
When we think about hardcore and we think about that focus on the outdoor world and the exploration and the journey from 1 to 60, being able just to spam dungeons to level up your character sounds a little antithetical.
I like the way that they did it, honestly.
But that being said, we recognize that players love the dungeons in Classic and they want to be able to play them, so we've put in a 24-hour timer where players will be able to run a dungeon once every 24 hours. Now that being said, once you hit level 60, you can spam dungeons to your heart's content. But outside of that, in your level up journey, we expect the player base to really be focused on the outdoor content.
When you're out in the outdoor world, sometimes monsters, creatures can just follow you for a very long time. Is that going to be something in hardcore?
Priest Quest, I think.
So we've all seen the videos of Teramis being kited to Stormwind. Teramis is a very high-level mob that players can encounter in the open world, and unfortunately is not supposed to exist in a major capital city like Stormwind. Teramis is supposed to exist in the Blasted Lands.
The guards aren't doing their job.
So we've invested time to make sure that the leash range for characters or mobs such as Teramis is a lot shorter and more appropriate and that they stay closer to where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, and the thing too is that we also know that, and we recognize that some of the classes like hunters and mages really rely on kiting those characters. So it's going to be at a long enough range so players can still use their abilities without like losing the control of the beast.
Speaking of hunter, are there any class changes coming with hardcore to make things more fair too?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had to revisit that, starting with resurrection, right? Like that's out of the door. That's not gonna happen. Any kind of like spell that does that is gonna be out. You know, resurrection, soulstones, Ankh from the shamans. It will be really unfair if we still keep some of these classes, these mechanics that allow, you know, to go against the spirit of hardcore.
You know, one of the big ones is bubble hearthing, where paladins can
this is a controversial
cast,
one,
divine shield on themselves and be able to hearth anywhere out of danger.
Yep.
It's certainly an iconic move, although perhaps not particularly heroic for paladins to do this. So we've removed their ability to be able to do that. When we look at the classes and the different class changes that we've made, keeping some things in like this that go against the spirit of hardcore, unfortunately just really creates some wild class imbalance for us.
I was going to say, there'd be paladins everywhere.
Yes, that would be the class of choice for sure.
Yes.
We also have talked about like different mechanics that exist
Common vanilla paladin
I know that one that the community is really talking about is Flask of Petrification. You know, Flask of Petrification really allows you to have immunity for a little bit so you can get out of like certain situations. One of the reasons why we decided to keep it for now in the game, and we're going to be monitoring it, is that really we're talking about like high end, the end of the game rating, right? And it's a point where you have invested so much time that sometimes it's okay to have like a safety net, right? Like a small, very, very specific safety net.
Yeah, you know, we imagine for people who want to attain a Flask of Petrification, not only do they have to find the recipe, they have to farm the Black Lotus. That is a non-trivial amount of work to do. And when you've invested that much time into a character to get to level 60...
I do get it, but Petri is still, I don't know.
We feel like it's okay to have just a little bit of protection.
So make friends with an alchemist? Or become an...
I'm not you guys know my take on it. I don't really like Petri, okay? I think Petri would be more fun without it, but I do understand why they don't want to like have it like that, but I don't know. I guess they said they're gonna monitor it though, so like maybe down the road if Petrification is something people don't want in general, then it's gonna get put out, right?
Alchemist,
yes,
an herbalist,
yes.
The community's very excited. We're all very excited.
Petri's always a weird conversation because
what is some of the feedback that you've seen that you know
it's
you'd
kind of
like
cheesy
to pay attention to in this conversation?
Yeah, I mean, in general, we have seen a huge excitement from the community. One of the biggest points of contact has been, you know, Action House, using the mail, because in the unofficial servers, part of some people's rule sets might be like you don't get to engage with
individual.
Those, right? For us, we want...
I really get why they don't want to limit this though, because it is a big part of an MMO to trade, right? It really makes sense. But maybe one day, guys, character selection screen, option to go solo self-found, extreme hardcore, whatever the hell, that could be cool.
To go
maybe
out,
one day.
Enabling the Action House and the mail and also trading, because as we mentioned before, we're in a very different environment than the one that it is in the other servers where not everybody is going into the same challenge.
That desire
I'm not going to be doing any trading on my character, I think. I'll just go raw, right?
We've heard it loud and clear. And there's even members on the team that would want to play with that option enabled. So what we've looked into is, not for launch, but sometime after launch, enabling an option for players to choose from that allows them to play without being able to trade, use the auction house, or use mail. So a self-found option.
That's interesting.
Not much more to discuss on that for today, but something that we're really looking into.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for talking about hardcore. I am so excited. I can't wait until this comes out. Thank you guys for tuning into WoWcast. See you next time.
Damn,
See you.
That's good. Really cool little interview with the devs there, guys. Actually, really, really cool, dude. Yeah, so they're actually looking into doing solo self-found. They literally said it right there for the classic hardcore devs. Yeah. I mean, technically, we got it confirmed there. Right at the end, right before the interview ends, solar cell found basically confirmed. And now the next road is gonna be down to Classic Plus, but we'll see how that goes, right? Interesting though. Very cool video. Very cool video. Very cool video there. And it was just released, so we could watch it right now here.